From the first step of development, when we start developing any new product at Prime Computer, we have sustainability in our focus.
So Prime Computer aspires to accelerate a global transition towards a circular future for both work and life. Our products are sustainable because we are built on 3 pillars. First of all is the pillar of sustainability. We act in a 100% climate neutral company where all our products are calculated and offsetted. We reduce energy consumption by nearly 80% through our devices. The second pillar is the design, so the aspect of it is designed by sustainability or sustainability by design. So it's built in a fanless aluminium case and that gives the effect. The third pillar is in fact the Swissness we bring with us. So everybody understands what Swissness comes. It's the innovation, it's the nature and the sustainability aspect in one.
So you have to know that from the first step of development, when we start developing any new product at Prime Computer, we have sustainability in our focus. So that means that this is the design that you see here and the technical components, they are not chosen by hazard, so they are intentionally chosen to fulfill the sustainability approach that we are looking for. If you look at this device, you see that it is really small. It's a really small computer. And when we talk about greenhouse gases or CO2, we often talk about footprint. So if you look at this and it really has a small footprint, a physical small footprint, that means that you need less material and less resources, and in the end also less energy and CO2 and greenhouse gas emissions because you have to produce less.
We also offer at Prime Computer is a second life cycle, so our products get used a second time. This prolongs also the life cycle of our products. We also introduced the service model, so our products are being used more than once and have a much longer life cycle.
So Prime Computer wants to help create solutions and to reduce the total impact of CO2 emissions globally. And we want to accelerate a circular transition. This means circularity in an aspect of design and getting it back into the loop is one major aspect for the future. That's one reason why we want to do that. But ultimately, we want to help you to save the world.
Another super important factor for Prime Computer products to make it sustainable is the fanless design. It's not only fanless, it's completely mechanical free. That means that you have a higher reliability than if you compare it to a conventional PC. Higher reliability means you have to exchange less broken units. And what we talked about before, less footprint overall because you save resources and energy that you use for producing a product. A fanless design and a mechanic-free design also makes the product life longer. So you can use it for longer, nothing wears. That means in a long time you will save replacement cycles of IT, which in the end also saves resources and energy that go into production.
Prime Computer products are 100% climate neutral. So the next step is that we are going to be climate positive. But not just the products, the company itself. So while you buy our products, you do not just buy climate neutral products, but you do something for your climate balance and you save energy and you reduce e-waste. Climate positive means that while using our products, you do something good for the planet.
Another really important factor, or probably the most important, I would say, is the energy efficiency. And this has also something to do with our design, with our fanless design. Because we are fanless, we have to choose the most energy efficient components that you can get, especially the processor and the integrated graphics card. Because energy efficiency means here that you also dissipate less heat, so that the CPU and the graphics card, they have enough power, but because they're energy efficient, they don't produce that much heat. With the passive approach, a passive cooling in such a small form factor, there's only a limited amount of heat that you can dissipate. So that's why we have to go for the most energy efficient components. Energy efficiency means that you will use less energy for the same tasks. So, and in a time where not 100% of our energy comes from totally renewable resources, that means also less climate gas emissions or CO2 emissions. And you will of course also see this effect on your monthly electricity bill.
Our packaging is made out of corrugated recycled cardboard, so we try to use no plastic in it. Also the shrink wrap we use to shrink the products is made out of sugarcane.
Even if we have here an IP51 certification, so that makes it even more reliable, especially in harsh conditions like in a dusty environment in a production facility, or if you use it near a kitchen where you have greasy air that usually clogs the fans and makes it less reliable and you have to replace a lot of units. Even if we have this protection, you still can access and repair things at our products.
Through the calculation of our product footprint we did this year, we found out that the biggest potential in saving CO2e lies in the reuse of our components. So what we do is we work with our suppliers to design, again, smartly designed products, and where we can reuse most of the components, and that's where we also can save the most CO2.
So for example, here with the Prime Mini Connect, you can just screw off the bottom plate and then you will reach components like RAM or like the SSD or like the Wi-Fi module. So if you want to upgrade, or if one of these components breaks down, you don't have to replace the whole device. You can just exchange this one component. And of course, what I explained before, this will then save resources and energy that go into production of all the remaining components that are still perfectly working.
Our products are made out of recycled aluminium, which makes it sustainable.
We did send one of our devices to an independent research facility where they did test the energy efficiency and other sustainability measurements and compare it to a conventional PC. A first main finding was that the Scope 2 emissions, Scope 2 mainly concerns here the energy consumption of the device, was 70% less than with the device they compared it with, which was just a regular standard office PC that you can find in millions in every country in all the offices. So 70% less means much less CO2 emissions, and it also means that you save on your electricity bill. What is really important here to say is that this research facility has a really sophisticated and special approach on measuring this electricity consumption, because they do not just measure the idle consumption like a lot of other labels do in this field. They really have a structured working day and then tested our device for several days in a real life environment. So like you would use your PC at the office. And so in the end, it makes it just much more reliable and more significant. What we did find out in the end, that we have 70% less energy consumption than a conventional PC. This research facility did also measure the Scope 3 impact. So Scope 3 is what we talked about before. So it's like the footprint or CO2 footprint that is emitted during the production and shipment and so on. And this was about 39% less than a conventional office desktop PC.
So people and companies should make sure to buy green IT and sustainable IT solutions, because the current supply chain is destructible. And the global e-waste is the fastest growing waste stream in the world. Only 17.8% of e-waste is currently recycled. This is massive and it has impact on health, but also on the environmental issues we have. And also the energy scarcity growing in several continents. So that's one aspect we need to be solving by having green IT, reducing energy consumption and reducing the e-waste.